Hi, Chase. This is going to be a collective reading for the entire year of 2021. Uh, so, welcome. Thanks for tuning in. And I'll try and keep this concise since we're going to go over pull a card for each of the 12 months. And I've already said my initiation that this be in the highest good of all that tune in, and may I get out of my own way to deliver whatever message is needed to hear. And yeah, I also just wanted to call in the power of the four directions and what they embody: the north, east, south, and west. And I also invite you to just clear out the energy of the past year out of your energy field. Just allow it to release out. You can ask your guides for help with this, or I have a lovely feather here. If you want to imagine like a feather sweeping through your energetic field, you can do that as well. And maybe just start with taking like a deep inhale, and then on the exhale, just let it all go and create space to invite what this next calendar year may be bringing. So, being that this is a collective reading, it won't be as specific, so it might not be for everyone, but I just always encourage you to take what you like and leave the rest and pay attention to what resonates. So to start, I pulled an animal spirit card. It's this lovely painting of an owl. And the keywords for this are going to be darkness and liberation. So owls are nocturnal, and they see in the dark, and they hunt in the dark, and they're not afraid of the dark. So there's definitely like whatever darkness we're currently in, to not fear it. And then this owl in this card specifically looks like he's looking within. So like tuning into our own inner light. And then there's also kind of like an earthy feel to this card, so like and like a sense of bowing. So not only looking within, but like a deep reverence for earth. So I kind of feel like that sets the tone for all of 2021, is this deep wisdom within and the animal spirit of an owl. Unafraid of the dark, definitely a powerful bird of prey, and kind of fearless, this fearless liberation. And maybe that's something that's going to be asked of us. Okay. So I'm just going to set that there. And I'm going to show you the book because I'm going to reference it a little bit. The WildWood Tarot by Mark Ryan and John Matthews are the authors, and then the artist is Will Worthington. And this is a really special deck to me. It's kind of tapped into natural law, and it's just like sacred to me. So I like to use it during special occasions, and I'll try to not rely on the book too much, but there is like a lot of potent wisdom in the book. So anyways, let's keep this moving. Okay, so I just again invite you to tap in, tune into your breath, come into your body, tap into a sense of being grounded in your body and connected to the earth below your feet or your seat, and tap into that grid. And then just kind of also energetically tune into us. Okay. So the first card is the World Tree. And ironically, that's also the number 21. So this is the first card for January. And as you can see, there's a labyrinth leading to this little door on this um, very epic old ginormous tree with these incredible roots. And then it's also showing all the seasons. So I feel like this is like we're like going to be invited to be asked to go through a new door on our path. And there's some kind of like rebirth to this. So I'm just going to like let you sit with that. This is, I feel, a really powerful card to pull for January. And I am going to reference the book. Okay, so in this deck, it's marking the end of the Wanderer's journey. So we're coming to the end of the old. Okay. As the symbol of the conscious bridge between the living macrocosm and the inner universe of the human psyche, the World Tree marks the end of one journey for the wanderer and the beginning of another. The wanderer began the journey around the wheel with an innocent and childlike curiosity, but the subtle growing process experienced on the way has brought inner gifts of wisdom, awareness, and the final step is to follow the path through the living maze and enter the heart of the world tree to become one with the wholeness of the universal mind. Okay, so we're like walking through this maze to get to the heart of like a bigger picture. That's potent for January. And also kind of confirmation of like whatever path you've been on is a part of the process. So nothing is hidden and there's no misleading or cunning diversions set to lead the unwary off path. But to gain access to the tree, one must walk the path and complete the journey. There's no dead ends or false routes. But leads to the center. Perhaps symbolizing the passage of the sun or guarding the souls of dead ancestors and spirits in their place of repose. It remains a pathway to the core of the mysteries and an easily recognized image of the human journey. Through the doorway at the base of the tree is clearly visible, and nothing stops the traveler from directly approaching it. Walking the labyrinth pathway is a ritual requiring patience and insight and enabling contemplation and meditation on the meaning of the journey. Okay, so there's definitely like this process to what we've been going through, which like really has felt like a labyrinth. And I feel like this is saying that what was gained in that was necessary, requiring patience and insight, enabling contemplation and meditation. Okay, so what may be found beyond the door is both individual and universal, for encompassed within the branches of the world tree are the 4 seasons of the cycle of life. Through the restful healing of winter to the fertile freshness of spring, the power and joy of summer and the wisdom and maturity of autumn, the cosmic light of universal understanding shines from the heart of the tree, creating a bridge to the source of all consciousness and life. The world tree represents all individual life and all knowledge in one holographic field of consciousness and, paradoxically, remains as one entity, whole and complete. This complex concept is not only stranger than we think, it's stranger than we can think. Okay, do you see why I wanted to read out of the book? I might not do that for all of them, but like for this card, I definitely needed to read that. A holographic field of consciousness as one entity. So there's like a deeper intelligence at work, and also this like process of the life cycle and our own individual process, and how that through the journey we come to it being a more universal process. And it's a little bit out of what the mind can grasp. And again, like kind of referring to this deeper intelligence. So in January, how can we trust this deeper intelligence at work while having patience on our own individual path and knowing that like our wanderer's journey is coming to a close, that like one door is shutting and then now we're going into a new phase, a new cycle. So pretty intense card for January. I feel like the energy really fits though. Excuse me. So this is really lovely. The universe and its blessings are available to everyone who seeks knowledge and wisdom with a sincere heart. So there's kind of like the wisdom of the owl can be accessed with the like if you're seeking with a sincere heart. I love that. On every level, the cosmos has a generous bounty and gives freely of its rich nourishment and fulfillment. No matter how long the journey of life may be, however many twists and turns the maze may offer us, in the end, if we persevere, we will reach the point of fulfillment. This can relate to material gain and wealth or to spiritual happiness and emotional security. But after the long process of learning, responsibility, and rebirth, it's now time to bathe in the light of renewal, attainment, and personal triumph. Breathe in the rich air, drink of the sweet water, and rejoice in the warming fire of the universal life force. I feel like that's really, really potent. And like we're all about to get a breath of fresh air, like that's much needed. And wealth in some form or another uh, is with us. Like it's already with us for January, and it's gonna be an unfolding of what that is. Material gain, spiritual happiness, or emotional security. That's kind of like given or gifted after this like long, arduous transformation we've been on. Okay, so I need to keep moving because if I spend this long on every card, I'm going to have you here all day. So, okay, February. I also like how that tree has all the seasons, so kind of like this is definitely a closeout to the past year, and then I just love that visual of like what's behind the door. Okay, so the next card is the Ancestor. for February 2021. And another major arcana card. And I'm also going to reference the book with this one too, just because these are pretty powerful cards and the wisdom contained in this is really intense. So as you can see, here, let me hold it up. We have this like antlered figure that's, that card's just like jumping, half human, and this is representing an actual ancestor, and it's clad in reindeer skins and evergreen leaves. And so it's standing at the gate of the forest, so it's also like a gatekeeper, and there's silver birch trees. And it's definitely in like winter, which is kind of interesting for the February card. Oh, look at this. It says the ants, she falls on February 1st, and she's associated with the new moon and elements of air and earth. Huh, okay. That's pretty. So before I get into this any further, like there's so there's the new moon in this card, and I'm going to say that during February, give extra special attention to the new moon. Like whether that be a ceremony, ritual, intention setting, anything that's sacred to you. I feel like that's part of this message for February specifically. Especially because this ancestor is associated with the new moon. So I'll likely revisit that when we get closer and do something special, maybe even in relation to this card, but just kind of file it away right now. And okay, so the book is saying that this ancestor greets you as you walk up the path that leads to the forest. She's a creature of myth, half animal, half human, but carries the wand of wisdom and the drum that summons all who can hear to gather and watch the sunrise. Okay, so that's really the wand of wisdom. I would like a wand of wisdom. And gathers those to watch the sunrise. So kind of like a sacred morning, and like so with the new moon in the morning, there's definitely like a new dawn is rising. Even though it's the ancestor card. So she is blessed by the land and by divine knowledge that flows from the stars. Her coat is white winter fur and evergreen leaves. And there's a gateway formed by the birch trees on either side of the path. And this could mark a new beginning or a new commitment, and also a point from which you cannot turn back. The trees act as a reminder to follow the path, know you're on journey with a beginning and an end. The path is marked with the tracks that lead you onward. The new moon signifies both end and a beginning, as Venus, the bright morning star, shows the new dawn of hope. Okay, so this is kind of mirroring the last card, is like one thing's coming to a close and something new. Something new is starting where we're not going to be able to go back to the old. That also feels like relevant to February's energy. But then I love this that they bring in Venus, like there's some hope here of a new dawn. So I hope that that's I'm careful when I use the word hope, but I just more associated with like, do you ever watch the sunrise and get just filled with um, kind of awe? I feel like that's what this is saying. And the ancestor and like potential too. So there's a lot of potential in February. Um, and then the ancestor is linked to the part of our soul that's most ancient and most closely related to the archetypes that represent nature. That's why I picked this deck. It's like getting back to natural law and then like trusting this ancient wisdom. Okay, it says she's guardian of the sacred heart of the land and summons you by beating the drum to the heartbeat of the earth. Oh, that's lovely. See, this is why I read this book. It's the part of you that unconsciously heard the drum and stirred the first desire to walk the path that is at work here. Oh, that phrase is so interesting. Let me just read this all again. She's the guardian of the sacred heart of the land that summons you by beating the drum to the heartbeat of the earth. It's the part of you that unconsciously heard the drum and stirred the first desire to walk the path that is at work here. It is the overpowering strength and patience of nature. It is the awesome and relentless turning of the cycle that brings spring and warmth, an end to hibernation and a reawakening of abundant life. The ancestor stands before the gateway of nature that leads far into the forest. This is another beginning. Once you pass through the gateway, you must strive to stay on the path and see the journey through to the end. Okay, so it's like we're going to be encountering a gatekeeper in February. And like we're going to be like passing through some kind of portal into a new beginning. And it's saying like stay on the path to the end, and like that's the kind of commitment it's speaking of. So there's also a commitment being asked of us in February. Something new is dawning, and there's like a new cycle. And like trusting the path and staying on the path as best we can. And like not fearing what we're not sure is ahead in the forest, and trust that this ancestor is going to be not only a gatekeeper but a guide, and to reassure you, and also greet you if needed for new experiences on the path. And this is also saying to trust your inner voice. Listen to your own instinctive and inquisitive nature. Your own ancestors, strong, patient, and wise. Let them lead you into the forest with new eyes and a joyful heart. Okay, so kind of trust your gut and tap into something deeper. And then we're kind of like back to the wise owl is threading through this. Wow, it was a really strong start to this. We're going to keep going. I have a feeling that like the first 3 cards is going to be like the first quarter of the year, so we'll spend a little more time with them. And then maybe it'll pick up. I don't know. Okay, so the next card is the Green Woman. And the number association with that's 3, ironically, for the 3rd month of March. And a lot of life and vitality, kind of like some fire, some gold, Uh, it's kind of like a commanding energy to this card. Uh, okay, I'm going to reference the book on this one too. So we have 3 major arcana cards. So 2021 is like powerful already. Okay, so she's crowned with ferns and wild roses, and she breathes the divine word of life. And then, like, her expression is very serene, steady, and full of graceful sovereignty. And then this necklace, let me hold this up a little closer, is a golden Celtic gorget representing the sun throughout the year. And the golden amber cup before her has within it the milk of love and nurturing. And it represents the life force of all women. Okay, so some powerful feminine energy coming through in March. And then the book is also saying that these like little creatures feel safe to build their homes and create their ecosystems within the branches and safe haven amid her luxuriant foliage. Okay, so she represents like a green energy and a wildness of the female archetype. But her presence balances that of the wild man. And she represents rich bounty of the great mother. She also represents the goddess of the land. And then we're coming back to this word. It's sometimes expressed as sovereignty. So really, really coming into our own, like embodying the divine feminine, and within that the sovereign nature of that. And then the book is also saying that, and see, the book's relevant too because this is kind of like has this whole myth within the deck of cards, so which I think is really neat. It's also saying that she'll like test and put to challenge people that come to her, and that if you are brave enough and succeed, then you'll be gifted inner kingship and love and a deepening bond to the riches of the earth. From her pours the glorious light of the midsummer sun, blessing everything it touches with life and boundless energy. So this is pretty like amazing to be on this path and then be kind of kissed with this light. So maybe kind of like not only is spring approaching in the northern hemisphere, but also this like vital energy. So this could be like your own inner feminine coming online here, and or possibly some kind of goddess coming into your reality that's going to help you find your way. And she's complex and subtle, but highly dynamic. She mediates the sacred blessing of earthly fertility. The beast that inhabit it informs a deep bond with the seeker who wishes to attune to the rhythm of the wheel of the year. Appearing at a time of rich nurturing and protection, of learning and initiation, when loving and fertile relationships, both human and universal, abound, the green woman mediates the sacred sovereignty of the earth's soul and can show the path to understanding and communion with nature. But with this blessing comes responsibility. Remember that this glorious, magnanimous, and generous spirit can live through you, radiated by the sacred breath of life and given to others who need guidance and healing. Learn from the abundant and joyous spirit of the earth and be at one with the world and your true self. So that's like a really powerful message for March. I like this owl looks like it's looking down on the reading. Stay focused. I'm like, whatever. Okay. So definitely, like, again, back to this reverence for Earth and her being a part of it. And like this communing with nature can help us get in touch with this vitality and sacred sovereignty. And like being responsible, like having a connection to her and to the earth. And then like inviting the breath to bring the spirit through you and like leading by example. Which can help be a guide and help heal. And like this harmonious inner peace within and without. And then this mention of your like true self. So wow, there's like a lot going on in March. Okay, so there's a way to like tap into our vitality and also like reattune to the rhythm of the earth itself. So that could be like maybe doing a cleanse or getting up with the sun or doing some kind of walking in the dirt, or some kind of communing with nature. Be that, I don't know if it's warm enough yet, but even if it's just like going to hug a tree or, like you're kind of getting the idea here. And like finding a way to like finding a way to like take responsibility that some kind of bigger initiation is happening in relation to this feminine archetype. And it's a little bit wild. Be at one with the world and your true self. Radiate by the sacred breath of life. Radiated by the sacred breath of life. Okay, so also maybe do a yoga practice or some breath work, meditate, breathe, really remember that like your breath is gonna connect you to this force, and this force is like part of a really big initiation. So lots of new beginnings. Each one of these cards is like kind of building on the next, and they're all pointing to something new. It's like the first card is, like walking the path to get to the heart of the tree, like seeking with a sincere heart. Then we sort of have this like guide to take us through the colder parts of like standing as a gatekeeper to the edge of the forest, to take us through maybe some unknown territory, but that there's also like a newness, a new beginning. And then we have this like vitality, feminine life force, new growth, and initiation, and like being called to like really step into that sovereignty and be responsible. And there's like definitely initiation happening. So, okay, April. Okay. The card for April is the Six of Bows and Abundance. So to me, this looks like you've been traveling on this path. You've been traveling on this path, going through a new door, like meeting a guide, everything I just went over, right? But like deep, now you're deep in the forest. You've encountered like this, the green woman of the forest. And now when we get to April, we're coming to a clearing where we can like rest and refuel and get warm by the fire. So Six of Bows, abundance, kind of. I feel like that means April is going to be still a very transformative time, but also that like rest, integration, and like your needs being met, your nourishment being met. And kind of like a nice stop along the way. So I don't think I need to check the book on this, but let me just reference it real quick, just because this is so full of wisdom. Okay, so the book says a time to reap the benefits and to accept rewards and blessings as a result of endurance. Okay, I feel like that's important. Getting through the past year, and by patiently attending to what you have sown, the blessings of new growth will be bountiful and rich. We humbly share the plenty of the ripening year with those less fortunate than ourselves. Okay, so it's also kind of asking to what you have plenty of extend to others. So kind of like some there may be some, not necessarily teamwork, just a like equal exchange and some sharing, and like knowing that you're fortunate and just sharing that fortunateness with others. Fortunateness is not a word, but definitely kind of like a reward for really good effort, and kind of like some well-being is coming through. Give thanks, accept blessings, and yeah, this is kind of saying what I've already said about it's re-emphasizing that if things have been stressful and there's been a lot of struggle, it's really important to rest. And that I would say permission to rest in April. So, wow, that's going to be like a year mark from kind of like the whole landscape of everything beginning to change. So it'll be interesting to see what happens here. Okay, so April, and next would be, well, I gotta go a little faster. I guess if you're watching this, you're committed, and or you can pause and come back if you need to take a break. Maybe I'll do a little break after June. I want to keep this on one video though. And on that note, I'm considering starting a Patreon. I don't know. So I'm wondering if anyone has interest in like longer readings I would offer on that. I don't know. Okay, moving on. So, okay, these two cards came out together, so I'm going to put them here together. We have, so this is going to be May and June. The Queen of Stones, the Bear, and the Three of Arrows, Jealousy. So kind of fiery. April, May, and June have kind of got a lot of fire happening. Visually in the images here. Let me slow down because there's actually stones and arrows, so that's going to be earth and air. But I guess I'm just seeing like the fire burning in this card is like to warm yourself by the fire. But then there's like this fiery sky behind her, which follows this like heart on fire. Okay, so let's slow down and go month by month. So May is the Queen of Stones and the Bear. And that's going to be like a very, again, like a feminine protective energy. And then what's weird is like she looks like she's looking at those, that heart is like dripping blood into the earth from the three arrows, which says jealousy. So just because of the way the cards look, I'm going to say that in May, there's something you want to keep an eye out for, to like protect and nurture yourself. So if there's like a boundary you need to draw with certain people, or like a situation you need to get out of or be cautious of, or just ask extra questions, I would definitely like be more mindful of that in May. And there's like a fierceness. There's going to be so like April, a little more lighthearted, and then I don't know, bears are healing too though, so there could be some like great healing. Also this idea of like coming out of hibernation, right? Like in May, everything's starting to thaw. And oh wow, the book says richness and plenty surround you. Your bounty and welcoming nature make you popular with all. Many depend on you, and your natural sensuality makes you powerfully attractive to others. Pragmaticism and generosity open doorways at every turn. Okay. So there's this theme of the new doorways again, and it's still following the theme of plenty and bounty. So the questions that this card brings up are: how can you best promote well-being? Where can you make space to care for yourself or others? And what needs to be preserved? So the what needs to be preserved, I think, is kind of what's looking at happening in June. There's also a message here of preserving things of value, and like being careful to not waste resources, and just being direct as possible. And like it's okay to enjoy whatever is like enriching your life. So I wasn't quite expecting this reading to be so like, oh, abundance of plenty, but it's what it's saying. So um, this can of course be like have more symbolic meaning. Uh, but there is power, prosperity, and I think this is like really asking you to tap into your own power and your own confidence. I mean, that bear is confident. Don't let anyone mess with you in May. um, which maybe I should say, maybe don't let anyone mess with you in June, because June is the Three of Arrows. And this card says jealousy. Typically, this card is associated with like heartbreak. Um, and for as brutal as this card is, it's actually a really lovely illustration of, you know, three arrows in the heart, and then the heart is on fire. And what's neat about the layout is that the bear kind of sees it coming, and then the fire is kind of surrendering and transforming back up to the green woman. So like I would say that if there is something that needs let go of, or there is some kind of like heartache, to surrender it back to earth, and like let her light kiss it and transform it, and that there's possibly something that does need let go of. Like some kind of unhealthy dynamic. Um, this could also, I mean, we're at June now, so this could be like a big turning point of change. And, you know, it's important to mention that sometimes, even when change is like good and beneficial, there's still like a grief process. And, but this card specifically says jealousy, so I'm a little curious. I'm a little curious about what that represents in this deck. Like to me, jealousy is always related to insecurity. So there might be like deeper insecurities happening mentally that is like literally hurting you. It doesn't even necessarily have to be with a circumstance, although it might be. Um, yeah, this is just saying like be careful of things becoming destructive with your like resentments or feelings. This reads: the origins of jealousy can be infinitely varied, uniquely subjective, and deeply rooted in socioeconomic and psychological soil. But whether born of a broken heart, a broken dream, or a broken economic system, beware of surrendering humility and forgiveness to feelings of envy or jealousy. The most commonly associated emotional drive linked to jealousy is loss. And I would amend that and even say lack, because I'm only jealous of something when it's like I don't think that I have a way to possess it or embody it. So, however perceived by the individual, it behooves both the victim of jealousy and the subject suffering feelings of envy to look deeply into the nature of their own motives and responsibilities. So, we're coming back to this theme of responsibility and ownership, and like looking at my part in things. Um, and to mature through that and discover that, like, while some seem to have more, are gifted with copious good fortune, um, we can like accept that, and that the healing balm for envy is humility, acceptance, and forgiveness, even in the face of bitter rivalry and anger. Just as the constant refocusing of your energy into a positive and creative momentum in your own life is the best healer for the effects of jealousy. So, refocusing energy for creative endeavors. So, I kind of feel like that's saying, like, take whatever um, loss or lack or like whatever is kind of grinding your gears and put it into a more creative um, expression. And then if you can also remember that, like, stay humble can help. So, okay, we better keep moving here. Okay, so this kind of concludes the halfway mark. If you'd like to pause here, and or if you lose your spot, we're around like the 52-minute mark. And the candle has burnt out. This one hasn't. I would relight it, but I think I actually burned all the wax down. It's kind of interesting that at the so June's going to be like the summer solstice, right? Turning of the cycle, and then, you know, what did it say in February? Like, don't give up on the path. So whatever kind of heartache or loss is showing up in June, like, there might be ways to prevent it, and with this Queen of Stones. But there's definitely an element of like, and June is also like Gemini season, right? So like lots of mental activity, so more prone to set your heart on fire. Okay, so July. Let's keep going here. Interesting that I was just talking about Gemini being air, and July is Cancer season, so we have 5 cups here. And this card is ecstasy. So she's looks like she's like joyfully dancing, eyes closed, you know, at night by the starry sky. You know, it's like a warm summer night, dancing in the center of a pentagram. And it's like the first water card. I feel like this is really refreshing. So don't worry about whatever whatever heartache is happening in June is going to be replaced with like this cosmic ecstasy. And I think it's also interesting that even though July is like summer in the northern hemisphere and like the longest daylight and the warmest day, it's still night. So we've still kind of got that owl theme of in the night. So there's still like a way to find ecstasy, you know, within the dark. And this also feels kind of like a merging with the mystery and some kind of like surrender or just really letting go with you know, like when you dance and just like let the life force move through you, and then with the cups, the water and the flow, and it just like coming through. So I feel like that's complete. I just need to still reference this book. Okay, I'll try and skip the reading. I'm just looking for anything that really stands out. Ooh, the beat of the universal drum. So we kind of have this like the heartbeat drum in February. Kind of this drum theme going on here. Is heard in the soul, and it's a healthy surrender for a time to join in the dance. So dance in July. Energy is renewed by bathing in the cosmic life force. Okay. This is also saying like there's you can ecstatically with great beauty commune intimately and or be intoxicated by a personal connection with the divine. And this is also pointing to like music, meditation, art, love, dancing, or profound sexual experiences can inspire and induce the sacred trance of enlightening ecstasy. This powerful and euphoric awareness is utterly natural and a well-established aspect of shamanic traditions. States of ecstatic trance can sometimes be triggered by extreme physical exertion, or it's also saying like superficial consciousness. It's referring to drugs. The ecstatic trance has been described as a delightful possession or mysterious union with a timeless exuberance. The fusion of spiritual being with the profound and loving universal mind elevates the soul to the spaces between spaces where poetry breathes through you and exaltation and stillness effortlessly coexist. Okay, I'm really glad I read that. Okay, so there's this like way to connect the physical with the spiritual that brings about like deep connection and divine ecstasy, or just that like getting to the bigger, the universal, which that thread is also kind of weaving its way throughout this reading. The individual to the universal. How can we take what is individually ours and it be universalized, or like in service to the greater good? And also some permission to just feel some joy through whatever is calling to you. So what did it say? Music, meditation, art, love, dancing, or sex. Profound sexual experience. induce the sacred trance of enlightening ecstasy. So definitely partake in one of those in July, which will be a nice follow-up to whatever kind of rawness happens in June. You can rest assured that there's the potential for some, and maybe it's sometimes going through grief can really open that up too. So that would be an encouragement in June if there is some grief, or issues of jealousy or whatever. I would just encourage you, whatever comes up in June, work through it, and the working through it is going to lead you to this really wonderful place. Okay, so moving on here, August is the woodward, and can you see it? I believe this is the strength card. Like, look at all those kitties. Is like a very regal hunter. And we've got, I think that's maybe a hawk. Hawk in the background. And he's got the lynx skin. And he's holding a cup and a really wand. I'm definitely going to read the book on that because that's another major arcana card. So it's really bizarre how these matched up, right? Like, what was I saying? As far as like air for Gemini in June, Cancer, July, water, and now we've got August, which is Leo the lion, and it's ruled by the heart. It's kind of some interesting synchronicity there. Take that as maybe a good sign. Let me get just a sip of water. My throat is getting a little bit sore. Okay, so August is going to be asking us to call on our bravery and courage, and see if we can't find a less cliche way to talk about the strength card. Okay, so there's blood on this spear. So it's saying he's holding in one hand, he's holding a bloody spear, and then in the other hand, he's got a cup. But it's called a cup of giving, intoxication and compassion in the other. And he's wearing a mountain lion mask. And that's a lynx at his side, and that's an eagle above him, above his right shoulder. And the sun is rising. So again, we have this dawn theme circling back around. And kind of this golden glitter to everything, which like August feels very golden to me. So this card in this deck symbolizes the inner strength, the inner power that comes from facing fear and understanding the nature of darkness. Okay, I'm going to read that one more time. The woodward, who's the hunter in this card, an ancient guardian of the wildwood, symbolizes the inner power that comes from facing fear and understanding the nature of darkness. So see, we're coming back to this original theme of the owl, of not being afraid of the dark. And then the inner strength that comes from this awareness gives the individual the emotional body language and humility that says, I am not a victim, Treat me with respect and do not mistake my passivity for weakness. So I feel like that would be a good mantra in August to maybe write down or recite or just remember, meditate to. I am not a victim. Treat me with respect and do not mistake my passivity for weakness. And know that whatever has been taken from you has been in order for you to find your true inner strength. And your fierceness is needed, as a hunter must be as strong or cunning as the creature they are tracking and as dedicated to their goal as the lioness is to protecting and feeding her cubs. This is not mindless, irrational aggression, but the tempered stoicism of a cool and resolute passion. The strength of the woodward is both a balance and a dichotomy between the energy of the hunter or the guardian and the grounded inspiration found within the ecstasy of drumming and war dancing. The energies honor the qualities that provide protection and inspiration. These energies honor the qualities that provide protection and inspiration. So there's been like a lot of protection and inspiration woven also throughout this. So you might have to like face some kind of unavoidable something or other, deal with something, a person, a problem, and kind of like the strength of this card is going to be what's needed to deal with the issues at hand, because it's saying that like physical confrontation or emotional bravery isn't enough to resolve it, that like we kind of need to tap into this deeper strength and this inherent power. It also says sometimes when faced with a challenging situation, we must find our own inner backstop, the point from which we will not retreat or from which we can move forward with quiet confidence. The Wildwood ethos has much to teach humanity about calm, resolute strength. So I really like that. How do we move forward with quiet confidence? That gives me the image of like a hunter tiptoeing, but like knowing where you're going. And calm, resolute strength. So like meditate on what that is for you. And okay. So the next card is going to be for September 2021. And if you've made it this far, good job. I know my throat's getting a little sore. Okay, we have the Ace of Stones. And this says the foundation of life. Like I'm kind of starting to get a little I shouldn't say spooked out, but okay, so September is Virgo energy, which is earth, and then now we have this like gorgeous stone. And then the stone is also mirroring the themes of January of if you look closely, I don't know if you can see like that labyrinth is imprinted. And There's also like beautiful, trees holding this rock. And I feel like this is saying that we're going to find some kind of true stability in September. Some foundation for our inner spark, some foundation for whatever we, like the Wanderer was starting a new journey in January, and now by September, there's going to be like literally a bedrock for it. And it being the ace, that's got like a really, feels kind of invigorating to me. Okay, the most potent act of the mind is to conceive of an idea and manifest it into practical material reality. This means being able to formulate and marshal your thoughts to bring about real world change, transmutation of a wish, dream, or desire, and making it physically happen. Okay, and I was going to try not to too much heavy reading, but this is also really significant because it's kind of speaking to like a wish being fulfilled in September, and also how you can play a part in that. So the concept of the material world as a solid, unchanging thing has evolved with our understanding of the cosmos. Human beings seem unique in their ability to interact with the material world, and yet have a foot in the other world of the mind, imagination, and creative will. To be connected to the earth and the power that resides there allows us to draw from this primal source and direct the power of our minds to create changes in our world. The concept that the realms of matter and the realms of mind are totally separate and detached is now outmoded and verifiably untrue. The primal rock is decorated with ancient cup and ring markings to express the emergence of creation and the cycles of energy within the universal consciousness, and the still and stable point from which to plan and empower your life, fulfilling your material dreams. Okay, I like that. You're able to like wave your magic wand and create something, like co-create with and participate in solidifying some kind of foundation connected to your soul path. Okay, so October. Hang with me. We've got 3 more cards. Is the 3 of Stones, and like look at this card. I hope there isn't like too much of a glare on it. But there's like this feminine presence leaning back into like stable, solid rock earth, like kind of following the last card. And she's like surrendering, but also merging, but also being held by the earth. So there's like this feeling of being held by the earth, and like her hair is the ferns, and she's got this green dress on that like turns into roots. So she's kind of like merging again back to this co-creative interweaving with reality. It's like surrendering to the bigger picture and being a part of the creation. And then like that feminine receptivity. And this card actually says creativity, so let me like look on that. I don't know what I just knocked off. Okay, so it's stones too. So we have the Ace of Stones now, followed by the Three of Stones, so like more earth. Oh, she's a green woman, so that thread is also she's also a green woman from March, so from spring to fall of October. Or back to this like super creative life force. An artist listens to the inner voice. See, we're also back to the follow your inner voice. Okay, so throughout 2021, there needs to be like an attunement and a deeper listening, maybe to the silence, like, or like more of a meditation practice. Because when we can like drop into the silence, that's when we can like really listen and hear messages that need to come through that can't if there's too much noise. So that feels relevant. And not just for October, for the entire year. And then here it's coming around to say an artist listens to the inner voice and hears the wind song of the universe. So you're listening within and without, and you're attuned to nature. The courage, freedom, and skill that allows the artist to meditate this energy must be refined and focused for effective and meaningful achievement. So it's kind of saying like, how can you get out of your own way to let a force come through you, to create through you? So it's not you doing it. It's like being a channel to allow a greater creation. This is interesting. Just as releasing your dreams and desires into the universal consciousness always brings a response, so the releasing of creative energy invites into the artist the healing and enriching fuel from which further insight and visionary stimulus flows. This emotional and spiritual relationship with divine inspiration allows the subconscious mind to delve deeply and summons the intuitively creative power that actualizes work. Artistic beauty takes many forms and presents itself in a variety of ways, but the relationship with the subconscious formative energy, whether through music, painting, sculpture, or poetry, reminds us of the personal and intimate connection we all share with the universal consciousness. Okay, so there's still this theme of like universality coming through. And like good art and like good music can like touch the universal. I feel like there's more I want to say on that, but let's keep going. Okay. November's card. The King of Stones and the Wolf. So this wolf is in the deep of winter, howling at a full moon. And he also doesn't look afraid of the cold, snowy landscape. So just like I said in February, pay extra attention to the new moon. I'm going to suggest that come November, pay extra special attention to the full moon. And it's also like a very November-y card, isn't it? And then, oh, we have the stones again. So now we have this more like kingly reign over earth or nature and the wolf. So questions to kind of consider would be who offers you the best security or pragmatic advice? what is the intrinsic value to you or others, and where do you need to provide support, and where is life offering you its riches? So November kind of has this like, it says security brings pleasure, loyalty crowns every endeavor. So kind of this loyalty to the pack, and a sense of security. I guess that's like the wolf would be. Um, Sorry, I'm trying to like decipher this. I'm not quite sure how security relates. Love of the land and of the natural world guides much of what you do. You look often to the wisdom of others to color your life choices. Security brings pleasure, loyalty crowns every endeavor. So, this could be like, maybe there's going to be like a mature individual coming into your life, and or maybe like a friend that's really you can rely on, or even maybe like a business partner or financial advisor, maybe showing up in November. Someone kind of like pragmatic. This might also be like your own internal process, like learning to handle your money, or not letting like anything outside of the pack interfere. Maybe you're gonna find a home or some land or some area that's yours that you feel more secure, and or good health or financial support. Also, having said that, the alpha wolf mates with the female for life. So there's also like maybe a deep bond that's going to happen, or finding a life partner, or like maybe a potential union or marriage. And it's going to be possible to a divine masculine. So either a divine masculine within that you've healed within, or the work you've done within, like bringing that also into your reality. And like, look at this. Look at this, you guys. I just noticed this. So we have the October, there's like this feminine open energy. And she's like, has her heart open, her chest open. And there's sort of like this surrender, receptive female. And she's not looking directly at the masculine. She's like looking more to the heavens. And same with the wolf. So there's like this divine masculine, but they're both angling like they're angling towards one another, like, and their hearts are what's coming forward more than the mind. So I feel like there's some kind of, between October and November, there's some inner feminine healing happening and some creativity being sparked. And then there's also sort of this like protective space for that creativity to exist, or like a more solid structure or like protection from the wolf. And then it's neat because she almost looks like she's surrendering. Like they almost look like they're under the same moon. I love that. So kind of like there could be a possible union. Wow, that feels really strong towards the end of the year. It may be not like quite a union, but something close, or like something under your nose you didn't realize, or maybe some healing in regards to like just really feeling like your inner masculine can kind of kick ass and take names while being more receptive, like the to being receptive to receiving, and like both get this open heart. So like definitely whatever you do, keep an open heart. um, and December's card is the Two of Vessels. This is a really lovely Two of Cups card. You have the half human, half animal figures. Like now, these guys are directly facing each other, so definitely some kind of union, whether it's friendship or partnership. Looks like it's going to be kind of a magical December. There's definitely two heads coming together for a greater purpose. I'd say their hands, they're connected and it's pointing skyward. So there's still like a higher purpose happening here, like a greater good. It's not just love for love's sake. But then I would almost say in the last few cards, those heart openers, they're connected physically, and then they're also connected in their heart center. And then I would say that there's such a like a warmth connection here that they're like overflowing the cups. It's like a really interesting visualization of this card. And they're wearing the green, so kind of like bringing the entire reading together, of that like life force. And the female is wearing, or she has her head is a horse. So horses are known for being more like emotionally attuned and intelligent. And then he's got the buck head, and then we have this like fire kind of leading back through the rest of the reading. And this feels complete. Wow, I took an hour and a half. I guess that's to be expected with this many cards and this depth of a deck. Let me just check the Two of Vessels. I have to. And I also invite you to like anything that is sparked in your mind. Like I love when you share with me things that sparks within you as well. Okay, so there's definitely some potential in December. And I'm definitely not going to read all this. Okay, yeah, there's nothing jumping out at me that I haven't already covered, other than that this has like a potential to be a deeper foundation and lasting attraction. So cool. And let me just pull a few oracle cards and then we'll end. And thank you so much for your time, energy, and attention. And also just this, like, I don't know, the way I read cards is very kind of, I'm kind of inviting you to do the work. So there's definitely a level of awareness on your part if you're tuned into this. not sure what else to say on that, but okay. I am a spirit having a human experience, and I'm here to get closer to love. We have the little rainbow and the third eye, and this like depth of vision within the Ajna chakra, surrounded by the darkness. And just kind of a reminder that we're an eternal spirit. No matter what we suffer here on earth, there is a part of our soul that is unharmed and untouched. And there's a lot to be gained in the experience itself. And here to get closer to love is setting on top of creativity. So either love with a relationship or possibly with like your art, your music, whatever your muse is. There's also that. Okay, and this is perfect to end the reading with. We have the owl again. The owl wisdom. I do whatever it takes to get closer to consciousness. And getting closer to consciousness can also be like making the unconscious conscious. So being willing to go there, being willing to come out of denial, being willing to sit with the discomfort and or just be patient enough to be present with whatever's surfacing, to be present in the now, and knowing the now is where our power is, and that uh, and also just the infinite wisdom we have when we can shut our eyes and go inside and get connected to a deeper source. So your light's needed in the earth. I feel like there's like an intrinsic back and forth with this entire reading of needing, like the earth needs us and we need the earth. So remembering that connection, the staying committed on the path, and that we have guides and light sources and strength, courage, protection, the ability to bring what we truly desire into reality, and like just this deep surrender to the divine as we navigate such like unknown, like brand new territory. So 2021 is definitely going to be some new territory, and I hope this offered you kind of some insight as you step into it. I wish you so many blessings, and just remember the owl card of the, what was it? The darkness and liberation. So thank you for tuning in, and be well.